All right, so I know you're getting ready for this huge cycling trip through Europe in 2025,
Huge is right.
and you want to make sure to hit up all the best events while you're there.
For sure.
Well, we're here to help. We've been digging into some pretty awesome resources,
Uh-huh.
articles about European cycling challenges, a super detailed Cycle Sportive calendar,
Yeah.
and even a website that helps you find smaller, local rides
Oh, cool.
near the bigger events. So we're basically going to help you put together, like, the ultimate cycling adventure.
I love it.
It's going to be so fun.
It really is amazing how many different kinds of events there are.
Seriously.
You're definitely thinking about this the right way, starting early,
Oh, yeah.
because some of these events fill up so fast.
You're not kidding. And it's not even just about choosing the right date or distance. It's
No.
about the whole experience,
Absolutely.
Speaking of experience, this Chase the Sun event I saw on Epic Road Ride,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
it just blew my mind.
It's pretty wild.
It's this idea that you're cycling coast to coast on the longest day of the year.
The longest day of the year.
And they have routes all across England, Scotland, Wales,
Wow.
and even Ireland. What an amazing way to really see a country.
And think about it strategically, it's in June.
Okay, yeah,
So you have time to get over the jet lag, get used to being there, and really train.
right.
So you're totally ready to tackle all those
I
miles.
didn't even think about that. That's a great point. Okay, so here's one that's totally different.
Okay.
The Amstel Gold Race in the Netherlands.
I've heard of that.
You actually get to ride the same route that the pros do,
What? No way.
including the famous Koppelrit climb. You're talking 240 kilometers with a crazy 3,500 meters of elevation gain.
Oh, man.
It's intense. And, thinking about it,
Yeah.
it might be smart to look into some tour companies for this one.
Right.
They often have guaranteed entries, so you don't have to worry about it selling out.
That's true.
Plus, they might even be able to get you access to watch the pro race.
Now that would be cool.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, if we're talking about serious distance,
All right, let's hear it.
the Vätternrundan in Sweden
Okay.
is legendary. It's this 315-kilometer ride around Lake Vättern.
315 kilometer.
I know, insane. You can actually choose shorter routes if you want.
Oh, good to know.
But what I find so interesting is that they have 8 service stops along the way with warm meals.
Oh, wow.
It's not just about pushing yourself. It's like they want you to enjoy the ride,
Right. Yeah, and that focus on taking care of the riders, making sure everyone is comfortable,
Right.
is something I've noticed with a lot of these European events.
Uh-huh.
They really make it into a fun celebration, not just a race.
Yeah, I love that. Plus, the Vätternrundan is happening June 13th to 14th.
Okay.
So, if you're up for a challenge,
Yeah.
you could combine it with Chase the Sun for back-to-back European cycling extravaganzas.
I like the way you think.
Okay, but now this is where it gets really interesting.
All right, I'm listening.
You mentioned that you want to experience something unique about each country, right?
Sure.
How about this Midnight Sun Cycling Challenge in Finland?
Oh, yeah.
You'd be riding through these incredible landscapes in Finland under the midnight sun.
That's wild.
That's got to be amazing.
Taking advantage of that natural phenomenon to create an entirely different experience.
Exactly. And for something completely different,
Okay.
the Arna Westfjords Way Challenge in Iceland.
Iceland.
Imagine 1,000 kilometers through the breathtaking Westfjords.
Wow.
But this one's a gravel race.
Gravel, okay.
You're talking steep climbs, loose surfaces,
Yeah.
unpredictable weather.
You're really testing your limits with that one.
Absolutely. And what I thought was cool is that they really emphasize the cultural connections.
I saw that.
You've got the waffles at the Little Bear Cafe.
Oh, those waffles are insane.
I know, right? But then there's the Hurseolog hot pool, which is this natural geothermal pool.
Oh,
The
wow.
perfect way to recover after a ride,
For sure.
They really thought about how to connect the experience of the region with the actual challenge itself.
Yeah.
It's like a fully immersive adventure.
Definitely not just a race.
And, if you're looking for the ultimate test,
Oh, here we go.
they have the Arctic Midnight Special on the last day.
Okay.
It starts at midnight,
Midnight.
and you end by jumping into the North Atlantic.
Wow, that's intense.
I think a lot of people don't realize what they can actually do
Uh-huh.
if they just prepare properly.
Definitely.
And it's pretty cool that Epic Road Rides also mentioned that you can rent turbo trainers from them.
Really?
You can be training for these events from anywhere in the world.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm ready to look at the Cycle Sportive calendar.
It's a spreadsheet, I know, not the most exciting thing in the world, but
I'm sure it's packed with information.
it is. It's got events organized by location, date, distance, type of event.
Nice.
You can really customize your search.
It's amazing how many events there are.
It's insane. You've got events happening on every continent
Wow.
all year round. But since you mentioned 2025,
Uh-huh.
let's focus on what's happening around April.
Sounds good.
All right, so on April 6th,
Okay.
you've got the Tour of Lancashire Sportive in Preston,
Okay.
and they have multiple distance options,
Nice.
which is always good. Then there's the Massanutten Gravel Grinder in Virginia, USA.
Virginia, huh?
On the same day. It's a bit shorter,
Oh, okay.
so maybe a good warm-up event.
Makes sense.
And then there's the GFNY Pistoia in Italy also on April 6th.
Oh, cool. I've heard of GFNY.
Yeah, they're a global series known for being pretty competitive.
Yeah,
And the courses are tough, so that could be an interesting one.
definitely. And speaking of Italy, wouldn't it be amazing to watch a stage of the Tour of the Basque Country road race?
You're reading my mind. It's happening starting April 7th.
Nice.
And seeing those pros in action, that could be really inspiring.
Absolutely. And looking at this calendar, it looks like April is packed with gravel
Yeah,
events.
tons of them.
Have you thought about whether you want to focus on road cycling or off-road challenges more?
It's a good question.
Road cycling is all about speed and smooth surfaces,
Uh-huh.
while gravel is about adventure and exploring,
Yeah,
getting off the beaten path.
that's a good distinction. And, once we've got those big events locked in,
Yeah.
we can use sites like Time Outdoors and Let's Do This to find
Uh,
local rides near those events.
I like it.
It's the best way to experience a place like a local.
Yeah, you can find those hidden gems that way, the places tourists don't even know about.
Exactly. And then if you're looking for UK-specific events, there's this incredible website
Okay,
called UK Cycling Events and Sportives Calendar.
got it.
They've got everything from glorious gravel series
Awesome.
to tons of road sporties. They
Yeah,
even let you submit an event if you find one they missed.
that's cool. So they're really encouraging people to not just participate, but to add to the community too?
Exactly. So looking at all this, what's standing out to you? What's catching your eye?
Honestly, it's hard to choose. They all sound amazing. That combination of the Vetterneruden and Chase the Sun is definitely tempting. But that cultural part of the Arna Westfjords Way Challenge, ending with a soak in that geothermal pool, that's pretty hard to beat. It all comes down to what do you want to prioritize? Do you want pure endurance, amazing views, or that total cultural experience?
So true. And we've got to think about the practical side, too. For popular events like the Amstel Gold Race, we need to book early. Going with a tour company might be a smart move just to make sure we get a spot. Plus, they might even be able to get us access to the pro race, which would be amazing.
You're right. Planning ahead is super important, especially with international travel. We also need to consider your current training and fitness level. A 1,000-kilometer gravel race through the Icelandic West Fjords demands a whole different level of preparation than a 70-kilometer sportive in England.
Those are totally different beasts. And that's where those websites for finding local rides come in. Can you imagine finishing a big event and then spending a few days just exploring the area on some chill rides? What an awesome way to really experience the region.
That's a brilliant idea. You could stumble upon hidden gems that tourists never find, like local cafes, amazing views. You might even meet some local cyclists and get some insider tips. It's all part of the adventure.
It's funny how a lot of these events offer different distance options. You could start with a shorter distance at one event and then challenge yourself with a longer one later in the trip.
That's a smart way to build up your stamina and confidence as you go. And it gives you flexibility. If you're not feeling 100% on a particular day, you can adjust your plans and listen to your body. It's all about finding that balance between pushing your limits and taking care of yourself when you're traveling.
And speaking of taking care of yourself, let's talk about post-event recovery. After conquering a tough climb or pushing through a long distance, you deserve some pampering. Treat yourself to a soak in a hot tub, indulge in some local cuisine, and just soak in the scenery.
You've earned it. Recharging is as crucial as the training and the event itself. And incorporating those cultural experiences into your recovery adds another layer of enjoyment and makes the whole trip much more memorable. It becomes more than just cycling. It's about immersing yourself in the place and the culture.
Okay, so let's play pretend for a minute. If we were building a preliminary itinerary based on everything we've talked about, where would we start?
Well, knowing your travel dates would definitely help narrow things down. But let's say you're arriving in Europe in early April. We could kick things off with the Tour of Lancashire Sportives in Preston on April 6th, just to get those legs warmed up and acclimated to the time change.
Perfect. And then how about hopping over to Italy for the GFNI of Pistoia, also on April 6th? The region is stunning, rolling hills, historic towns, and it'll give you a taste of the GFNY series, which you could follow to other events throughout your trip.
I like it. And since we're already in Italy, why not catch a stage of the Tour of the Basque Company road race, which starts on April 7th? Seeing those pros in action, their strategy and teamwork would be incredibly inspiring.
Totally agree. And to wrap things up, we could head up to Iceland in late June for the Arna Westfjords Way Challenge. Just imagine cycling through those otherworldly landscapes, stopping for waffles at the Little Bear Cafe, and ending with a plunge in the North Atlantic. What an epic finale.
Now, that's an itinerary. It's got a great mix of challenge, scenery, cultural immersion, and opportunities for both road and gravel cycling. Of course, this is just a starting point. We can tweak it based on your specific travel dates, your preferences, and how your training is going.
Exactly. And remember those websites for local rides? They're like gold mines of information. They can help fill in the gaps and really personalize the experience. You might find a hidden cycling path along the English coast or stumble upon a charming village festival in Italy. The possibilities are endless.
That's what makes these deep dives so much fun. We're not just finding events, we're helping you create a truly unique cycling adventure that reflects your passions and your dreams. What excites you most about this itinerary? What parts really connect with your vision for the trip?
It's hard to pick just one thing. I love that we've balanced some serious challenges with opportunities for exploration. The Amstel Gold Race and the Arno Westfjords Way Challenge are definitely going to push me to my limits, but we've also got time to soak up the local culture, find those hidden gems, and just have those pinch-me moments that make traveling so special. What parts are you drawn to?
For me, it's the way this itinerary connects with the history and culture of cycling. Riding the same route as the pros in the Amstel Gold Race or experiencing those centuries-old traditions in events like Eroica Hispania, it's powerful stuff. It reminds us that cycling is more than just a sport. It's a way of life, a way of connecting with the world and with ourselves.
I love that perspective. It's like we're weaving together all these different cycling experiences, and each one adds something unique to the bigger picture.
Exactly. And this tapestry is yours to create. Use these resources and insights as a guide, but ultimately let your passions and your curiosity lead the way. Embrace the challenges, embrace the exploration, and above all, embrace the pure joy of cycling.
Beautifully said. So what's next? How do we turn this dream trip into a reality?
First things first, we got to lock down your travel dates and your budget. Once we've got that, we can fine-tune the itinerary, figure out the specifics of each event, and get started on your training plan.
Makes sense. And remember, don't forget about those websites for finding local rides. You never know what hidden treasures you might find, quiet country lanes, challenging mountain passes. It's all out there just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. And remember, this is just the beginning. The more you explore and research, the more amazing your European cycling adventure is going to be.
That's so true. Before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thought. As you're planning your trip, don't just focus on the cycling. Spend some time researching the cultural highlights of each region you'll be visiting.
Such a good point. Imagine combining your passion for cycling with visits to historical sites, attending local festivals, or even planning some culinary adventures. Talk about an unforgettable experience.
Exactly. So while you're training for those epic rides, immerse yourself in the culture of Europe. It'll bring a whole new dimension to your adventure.
Couldn't agree more. Now go out there and conquer those European roads. We'll be cheering you on every pedal stroke of the way.
You know, it's amazing how cycling can open up a whole world of cultural discovery.
It really is. It's fascinating how it combines that physical challenge with mental stimulation. You're pushing your body, but also opening your mind to new sights, sounds, and experiences.
Think about it. You've just finished the Tour of Lancashire Sportive, and you're feeling that post-ride glow. You've got a few days before your next event. Why not explore the historic city of Preston, catch a live music performance, or try some traditional Lancashire hot pot? Suddenly, it's not just a cycling trip, it's a full-blown cultural immersion.
You're creating a travel experience that goes beyond just checking things off a list. It's about weaving together athletic achievement, personal discovery, and authentic cultural encounters.
So what does this mean for your European cycling adventure? Do your research. Don't get so caught up in the miles and the elevation gain that you miss out on the history, the art, the food, the festivals of the regions you're visiting.
Think about what truly interests you beyond cycling. Are you a history buff, a foodie, an art enthusiast? Let those passions guide your exploration and turn your trip into something truly extraordinary.
Exactly. And don't forget about those websites we talked about, Time Outdoors and Let's Do This. They can be your local guides, helping you find those off-the-beaten-path experiences that make a trip truly memorable.
Imagine stumbling upon a hidden farmer's market in Tuscany, or joining a local cycling club for a casual ride through the French countryside. Those are the kinds of moments that turn a good trip into an unforgettable one.
As you're finalizing your itinerary, be sure to build in time for those serendipitous discoveries. Embrace the unexpected, be open to new experiences, and let your curiosity be your guide.
And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Try that regional dish you've never heard of, strike up a conversation with a local, or get lost in the winding streets of a medieval town.
Those are the moments you'll remember long after the miles have faded from memory.
So as you embark on this incredible journey, remember, it's not just about the cycling, it's about the people you meet, the places you see, and the stories you gather along the way.
It's about embracing the journey, both on and off the bike, and it's about returning home not just as a stronger cyclist, but as a more experienced traveler with a heart full of memories and a spirit of adventure that will last a lifetime. Happy cycling.
It really is hard to choose. They all sound so incredible. That combo of the Vetternerunden and Chase the Sun
I know, right?
is really tempting. But then you've got the Arna Westfeud's Way Challenge, the cultural aspect of it all,
Yeah.
finishing up with a soak in that geothermal pool.
Oh, yeah,
That's pretty tough to beat. I guess it comes down to what's most important to you.
for sure.
Is it pushing your limits? Is it the scenery? Or is it a total cultural deep dive?
So true. And we can't forget about the practical side of things either.
Right.
For something like the Amstel Gold Race that's really popular, we've got to book early.
Yeah, I think so.
Tour company might be the way to go, just to guarantee we get a spot.
That's true.
Plus, who knows, they might even be able to swing us some access to watch the pro race.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Planning ahead is definitely key, especially for international travel.
Absolutely.
And we also need to think about your current training
Right?
and fitness level, right?
Yeah.
A 1,000-kilometer gravel race in the Icelandic West Fjords.
Oh my gosh.
It's a whole different ballgame compared to, say, a 70-kilometer sportive in England.
Totally different animals. That's where those websites for finding local rides come in.
Yeah.
You imagine, you finish one of these big events,
Uh-huh.
and then you have a couple of days to just explore the area on these chill rides.
Oh, I love it.
What a cool way to really get to know a place.
Seriously. You could find some incredible spots that tourists would never see.
Oh, totally.
Local cafes, amazing views. You might even run into some local cyclists and get some insider tips.
I know, right? It's all part of the adventure.
Absolutely. It's interesting how many of these events offer multiple distance options.
Oh, yeah.
You could start with a shorter route at one event
Yeah,
and then push yourself with a longer one later in the trip.
that's smart.
Yeah, it's a great strategy for building up your endurance and your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you some flexibility, right? If you're not feeling it
Yeah.
one day,
Yeah.
you can always adjust your plans. It's all about listening to your body when you're traveling, knowing when to push and when to rest.
So important. And, speaking of rest,
Yeah.
let's talk about recovery.
Ah, yes, recovery.
After a tough climb or a long distance, you got to treat yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a soak in a hot tub, some delicious local food. Just take in those amazing views.
You deserve it. Recharging is just as important as the training and the events themselves.
So true.
And, adding those cultural experiences to your recovery,
Uh-huh.
it just makes the trip so much more memorable. It becomes more than just a cycling trip. You're really immersing yourself.
You're living it.
Exactly. Okay, so let's pretend for a minute
Okay.
we're building a rough draft of an itinerary based on all this.
I like it.
Where should we start?
Ooh, good question.
Knowing your travel dates would definitely help.
Of course.
But let's say you get to Europe at the beginning of April.
Okay.
We could start with the Tour of Lancashire Sportive in Preston on April 6th,
All right.
just to get those legs moving, get used to the time difference.
I like it. Yeah.
What do you think?
Perfect. And then from there, we could hop over to Italy
Okay.
for the GFNY Pistoia, which is also on April 6th.
Nice.
The area is stunning, rolling hills,
I've heard it's beautiful.
historic towns, and it gives you a taste of the whole GFNY series,
Right.
which you could follow to other events throughout your trip if you want to.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, and since we're in Italy already,
Yeah.
why not check out a stage of the Tour of the Basque Country road race? It starts on April 7th.
Okay.
Seeing those professionals in action would be so inspiring.
I agree. And to finish things off,
Yeah.
we could head to Iceland at the end of June
Okay.
for the Arna Westfjords Way Challenge.
Wow.
Just picture it, cycling through those incredible landscapes, those waffles at the Littlebear Cafe.
I'm picturing it.
And then ending with a dip in the North Atlantic.
That's epic.
That's the way to do it.
Now that's an itinerary. It's got everything, the challenge, the scenery, the cultural experience,
Uh-huh.
and you get to try both road and gravel cycling. Of course, this is just a starting point. You
Right.
can adjust it based on your travel dates,
Of course.
your preferences, and how your training's going.
Exactly. And don't forget about those websites for finding local rides.
Oh, yeah,
Those are like gold.
they are.
They can really help fill in the gaps and make the experience truly your own.
Uh-huh.
You might find a hidden cycling path along the English coast,
Oh, cool.
or stumble on a charming village festival in Italy. The possibilities are endless.
I love that. That's what makes these deep dives so special. We're not just finding events.
Right.
We're helping you craft an adventure
Yes.
that's unique to you.
It reflects your passions, your dreams.
Exactly. So what excites you the most about this itinerary? What really speaks to your vision for this trip?
It's hard to pick just one thing. I love that it's got a good balance of those tough challenges and opportunities to just explore. The Amstel Gold Race and the Arna Westfjords Way Challenge,
Oh, yeah.
those are going to push me to my limit.
They will.
But we've also built in time to really soak in the local culture.
Yeah.
Discover those hidden gems and just have those moments where you're like, pinch me. Is this
Oh, I
real?
love that.
Those are what make travel so amazing. What about you? What parts are you drawn to?
For me, it's that connection to the history and the culture of cycling. Like riding the same route as the pros in the Amstel Gold Race.
Yeah.
Or tapping into those centuries-old traditions with an events like Aroca Hispania.
Oh, cool.
It's really powerful. It reminds us that cycling is more than just a sport. It's a
Right.
whole way of life. It's a way of connecting with the world
Yeah.
and with ourselves.
I love that perspective. It's like we're weaving together all these different cycling experiences, and each one adds something special to the bigger picture.
It's your tapestry to create. Use these resources, use these insights,
Uh-huh.
but ultimately follow your passions, follow your curiosity,
Yeah.
embrace those challenges,
Embrace the exploration.
and most importantly, embrace the joy of cycling.
Beautifully said. Okay, so what's next? How do we make this dream a reality?
First things first, let's nail down those travel dates.
Okay.
And that budget,
Uh-huh.
once we have those, we can fine-tune the itinerary, figure out the specifics of each event,
All right.
and get that training plan rolling.
Makes sense. And don't forget about those websites for finding local rides.
Never.
Those are like treasure troves of information.
They really are.
You never know what you might find.
Exactly.
Peaceful country lanes, challenging mountain passes.
It's all out there just waiting to be discovered.
So true. And remember, this is just the beginning.
It is.
The more you research, the more you explore, the more amazing your European cycling adventure is going to be.
Couldn't agree more. Before we wrap up, I just want to leave you with one last thought. As you're putting together your itinerary,
Uh-huh.
don't just focus on the cycling itself.
Yeah.
Take some time to research the cultural highlights of each region you'll be visiting.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Imagine combining your passion for cycling with visits to historic sites.
I know, right?
Maybe some local festivals, even plan some culinary adventures.
That would be amazing.
Talk about an unforgettable experience.
Exactly. So while you're training for those epic rides, immerse yourself in the culture of Europe.
Love it.
It'll add a whole other layer to your adventure.
Couldn't agree more. Now go out there and conquer those European roads.
Yes.
We'll be cheering you on every step of the way.
You know, it's funny, we've been talking about all these big events and stuff,
Uh-huh.
but some of my best cycling memories
Yeah,
come from those little moments,
totally.
those unexpected things you find when you just get out there and explore.
It's true. Those detours, those hidden cafes,
Yeah.
those are the memories that stick with you.
Exactly. Like, say you just finished the GFNY Bastoia in Italy.
Okay.
You're feeling great.
Yeah.
The adrenaline's still going. Why not take a day and explore the Tuscan countryside?
Oh, I love that.
You might find a vineyard doing wine tastings.
Nice.
Or a village having a festival.
That would be amazing.
Celebrating something you've never even heard of.
It's all about being open to those little surprises and those moments you can't plan for.
Exactly. Letting go of the itinerary and just seeing where the road takes you.
Sometimes those unplanned things become the best parts of the trip.
That's so true. And that's where those resources we talked about earlier, Time Outdoors and Let's Do This,
Oh, right.
those can be super helpful. They're not just about finding organized events. They can help you discover those local routes,
Right.
those hidden gems.
They're like having a local guide right in your pocket.
Exactly. Sharing all the best-kept secrets.
Exactly. And think about the stories you'll be able to tell when you get back.
I know.
Not just about the big events,
Right.
but about that time you stumbled upon a hidden waterfall in Scotland.
Yes. Or that charming French village you got lost in.
Exactly. It's about weaving those little adventures into the big one.
And creating something totally unique.
Exactly. So as you continue planning your European cycling adventure,
Yeah.
remember, it's not just about checking things off a list.
It's about the journey.
It's about embracing the unexpected, following your curiosity.
Saying yes to those spontaneous moments.
Exactly. It's about making the journey as memorable as the destination.
So true.
And coming back home, not just a stronger cyclist, but a more experienced traveler with all these stories and memories to share.
Love that.
So keep dreaming big,
Yes.
keep exploring, and most importantly, keep pedaling towards those amazing adventures that are waiting for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This has been awesome. Thanks for diving into all this with me.
Of course, always a pleasure.
And to all of you listening out there, happy cycling.